Good evening and welcome. I am Goldalee Bruce and this is the 7 o'clock news here on CNC3.
Good evening. Glad you can join us. I'm Samson Nanton.
Top of the news tonight, Justice Mark Mohammed orders a retrial of Abu Bakr sedition case as the jury fails to reach an unanimous verdict on 4 counts. The government unveils a $289 million crime plan, 5,000 SRPs to be called out.
National Olympians bring joy to hundreds affected by Saturday's floods in northern western Trinidad. The government vows no discrimination in helping those still affected as they are all located in PNM constituencies.
And in sport, TNT Warriors beaten 2-0 by Canada in international friendly. Top of the news tonight, Jamaat al-Muslimin leader Imam Yassin Abu Bakr will face a retrial after a 9-member jury failed to deliver a complete and clear verdict. Justice Mark Mohammed said that after 5.5 hours of deliberation, it was bordering oppressive to have the defendant, Mr. Bakr, continuously waiting while there was no reasonable probability that the jury could have come to an agreement even if given more time. As a result, Justice Mohammed discharged the jury and ordered a retrial on all 4 counts. Ria Rambali has the story.
Relief on the face of Jamaat al-Muslimin leader Imam Yassin Abu Bakr as he left the High Court on Thursday. After almost 2 months, the jury at his sedition trial failed to deliver a clear verdict, leading the judge to discharge the jury and order a retrial. The 9-member all-female jury, which was sequestered for a week, commenced deliberations at the High Court just before 10 a.m. on Thursday morning and was expected to deliver a verdict 3 hours later. But upon entering the courtroom at 1 p.m., Justice Mark Mohammed indicated that the jury requested clarification on a specific term. The jury returned to deliberations and 10 minutes later asked by Justice Mohammed whether the jurors had agreed on a verdict. The foreman answered no for all 4 of the charges, with the foreman agreeing that more time was needed. After 5.5 hours of deliberation, Justice Mohammed recalled the jury at 4 p.m. hoping for a conclusion. It would be the moment the Imam and relatives were waiting for, with eyes closed and head bent. The Jamaat al-Muslimin leader listened as the jury foreman indicated that jurors were divided 5-4 on the count of communicating a speech with seditious intention, 6-3 on the count of inciting others to demand money by menace, and the jurors had no position yet on the last 2 counts of inciting others and endeavoring to provoke a breach of the peace. But as Justice Mohammed would later explain to the jury, given the length of time they had to deliberate and the fact that the divisions of the first 2 counts were not majorities, he believed there was sufficient evidence to show that there was no reasonable probability that if given more time, the jury would deliver a verdict. Sitting with his head still bent, Bakr listened quietly with no expression as Justice Mohammed announced that the jury was dismissed and a trial reordered. Urging the jurors to not look so glum, Justice Mohammed thanked the jury for their service, admitting it must have been an emotionally, physically and intellectually challenging time for the 9 women who were sequestered away from their families for a week. Addressing the jurors, Justice Mohammed pointed out that the jurors took their job conscientiously and applied themselves. He made it clear they had not fallen short in any way or the other. On exiting the court after the ruling, Bakr stood on the stairs of the High Court, heavily guarded by his men. Even though he indicated he would speak to the media, Bakr's men were not in agreement.
It was a long day.
No date has as yet been set for the retrial. For CNC3, I'm Ria Rambali.
In other news, National Security Minister Jack Warner has outlined plans to spend $289 million on crime-fighting initiatives that would see 5,000 Special Reserve officers fully employed and high-tech equipment used by the police. The announcement was made at today's post-cabinet media conference. Samson Nanton reports.
It's been the country's biggest problem for years, and this is one of the biggest allocations of funds outside of a budget announcement geared at getting crime under control, $289 million. It will go towards the calling up of 5,000 Special Reserve officers to be fully employed in various ranks, the widening of police community support groups throughout the country, information technology solutions for crime fighting, and the purchase of vehicles.
To acquire 300 vehicles for use by the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, in many cases giving officers for the first time the use of vehicles to take at home with their weapons.
The breakdown is as follows: $60 million for the SRP call-out program, $5.1 million for the community support program, $164.5 million towards information technology, and $60 million for the purchase of vehicles. Of the 5,000 SRPs, 3,000 will go towards the community support program.
And they will receive specialized training to work especially in non-confrontational areas, and the aim is to address antisocial behavior and disorder.
The funds will come from the public sector investment program and other distributions, and of the big chunk to information technology.
We are looking to upgrade our E99 to a high-tech level position, and to bring in other technology that will assist us in detecting and solving crime.
The minister would not go deeper into his crime plan, but he chose his words decisively in describing what is to come.
When the plan is implemented, it shall be swift, it shall be surgical, it shall be clinical, and this country shall begin a new era of safety and security.
Which takes us to your vote question tonight. And the question we're asking is, are you optimistic that the crime-fighting measures outlined by the National Security Minister will have a significant impact on crime? Now, to get involved, text your response to the number 2623. If your response is yes, text Y. If your response is no, then text N. We'll give you an update on voting during the newscast and the final vote at the end of tonight's news. Meanwhile, in the midst of disaster, Olympians today brought relief and cheer to many of those affected by last Saturday's floods and landslides in Diego Martin. Olympic gold medalist Keyshawn Walcott was the center of attention as he led the charge in helping the victims. But even as he did so, the gold medalist reaffirmed his commitment to making his country proud. Cameraman Neil Romaine and reporter Otto Carrington were there, and they brought back this report.
The Toku Boy, as they call him, was the center of attention on Thursday as he halted his Olympic celebrations to bring relief to victims of last Saturday's floods. With a motorcade including Olympians Marshall Cedeno and Roger Daniel, the entourage began in the capital city, filled with relief hampers for the affected residents. But it was gold medalist Keyshawn Walcott who appeared to bring delight to children and all those, as the convoy made its way to Diego Martin and then on to Carenage. From every corner, even from porches and walls, many took the vantage point to get a glimpse of the Olympic gold medalist, even the old. The gold medalist even took time to chat a bit with some toddlers. After an hour's drive, Walcott and other Olympians arrived in Diego Martin to a hero's welcome as the community came out to cheer. Walcott and other members of the Olympic team met and greeted the victims. According to Keyshawn, he could not ignore the plight of the flood victims.
I'm glad to help with each and everything. I know these people feeling really bad about what happened to them, so I'm just thankful that I could help.
Many who received hampers were grateful and happy to meet the Olympic medalist in person and say he brought them a measure of joy in their hour of need. But this was not the end. The hamper distribution was taken to Carenage. There too, Walcott was bombarded by ecstatic fans, so much that the police had to intervene. The gold medalist, who received a cadre of gifts from the government, made it clear today that despite offers by other universities, he will continue to train in this country and also attend school. For CNC3, I am Otto Carrington.
Meanwhile, National Security Minister Jack Warner has vowed that there will be no discrimination by the government in the relief efforts, despite the disaster having taken place in PNM constituencies. The minister dismissed claims that the government was not doing enough, pointing to over 200 people who have been either relocated or assisted. Samson Nanton reports.
Every day, National Security Minister Jack Warner says a government team meets at the Diego Martin Regional Corporation to review the relief efforts of the day before and to look at the way forward. He dispels all claims that they have not been working fast enough.
We have sent out more teams into areas to see what their needs are. I have spoken to the Chief of Defense Staff, who has made more soldiers available. The Minister of the People has sent out more assessors to see what's happening to their homes. We have spoken to one of the scavenging contractors, who has made over 200 pieces of equipment available at a moment's notice.
Since Saturday, many have been still trying to pick up the pieces, and the minister says over 200 people have been relocated or assisted.
45 persons, I'm advised, have now been relocated. Over 150 have been seen. They have been seen and have been given equipment and material to fix their homes. And by and large, this thing is being addressed.
He says he will not spend time answering every critic, but he says while the opposition is critical of the government's work, the leader of the opposition, Dr. Keith Rowley's office, located at Lahawkett Road, Glencoe, which was badly affected, remains closed. Minister Warner assures claims of discrimination are unjustified.
I want to give the assurance, Joel, that we shall not discriminate in any way whatsoever against anyone who is in need of help.
The cabinet is seeking to speed up the delivery of grants to residents affected by the flood, as those communities remain classified as a disaster zone.
The Red Cross Society is continuing to appeal to citizens to give generously to those affected by last weekend's floods and landslides. The Society has already received donations from Alston's Marketing Company Limited and other companies in thousands of dollars worth of disaster supplies. As it unveiled some of the supplies, Communications Director Leslie Ann St. John was full of praise for corporate TNT as well as individuals who have gotten their co-workers and managers to donate.
Come on board in a fairly major way, and I think the ball got started with the telecommunications sector with Digicel coming on board and helping us raise some funds with a text drive. We had Unilever come on board fairly early, giving us supplies. We've had Lever Brothers come on board. We have Nipdec coming on board with a donation. But what's also interesting is that a lot of companies, their employees are taking the lead.
But St. John says because of the extent of the damage from the floods and landslides, residents in Western Trinidad need all the help they can get, and she's calling on citizens to continue to donate and be mindful of the emotional trauma experienced by those in the area.
Who has seen this particular disaster recognizes that this is not a one-day response, it's not a two-day response. Food and water continue to be at the top of the list of things that we need. We did have Blue Waters come in and give us a very generous contribution, several hundred bottles of water, and that is very much appreciated. But we still do need water. We still need canned food. We need items like oil, sugar, tea.
Let's now join Astil Wren. He's here to tell us what we can expect coming up in sport later on in our newscast. Astil.
Thank you so much, Golda. Well, coming up in our sportscast later on, well, we have national super welterweight champion Kurt Sinnett. He steps up in weight to face the Ugandan Jogi Vargas. Plus, we have the cricketers, the West Indies under 19 cricketers. They continue in their winning ways. And we have some solid advice coming from a sports psychologist to our newly crowned, our newly gold medalist, Keyshawn Walcott. All of that and more stories when I come back. Back to you, Golda.
Thank you, Astil. And after a difficult day on the field, Samson Nanton is here to take you through the news.
Thank you very much, Golda. Before we go on, though, the question you're voting on tonight, once again, we want to ask you, are you optimistic that the crime-fighting measures outlined by the National Security Minister will have a significant impact on crime? Text your response to the number 2623. If you want to vote yes, text Y. If you want to vote no, text 10. We'll give you an update as we go along. The final vote at the end of tonight's news. We also want you to vote to determine who was the most influential person in Trinidad and Tobago over the last 50 years. Every night we unveil one of the 50 most influential personalities from the year of our independence in 1962 right up to present day 2012. Vote via text to 2623 as well. Let me tell you what's coming up after the break. A Ryder Scott report shows a slowdown in the depletion levels of this country's energy reserves. A man is shot dead in Cashew Gardens in his bed while he sleeps. No holiday on September 3rd. The government says it's all just a rumor. And later, Rihanna tells Oprah she is still protective of R&B singer Chris Brown, her former boyfriend. Those stories and more when we come back.
I want it, I want it, I want it, I want it, I want it. Blue and gold, blue and gold.
inspired. It's time to awaken your creative senses with a new kitchen appliance from Quartz. Come in and select from our wide range of the world's best brands of appliances. Win a stocked fridge of Presidente beer, Coca-Cola, and Dasani water with the purchase of any major appliance. And what's more, if you shop today, you'll get something special with every purchase of Whirlpool and Mabe kitchen appliances. So be inspired to create that delicious masterpiece with your new kitchen appliance. Only from Quartz, bringing value home.
Welcome back. The rate at which this country's proven energy reserves is depleting has slowed down. This is according to the international appraisal firm Ryder Scott, whose annual assessments now show that this country's exploration projects have been bearing fruit. The government is now looking to establish Trinidad and Tobago as a main hub for ships wanting to refuel.
Yes, this country's energy reserves are going down, but the good news is that it is now doing so at a slower rate.
In 2008, our proven reserves declined by 9.5%, in 2009 by 6.2%, and in 2010 by 6.6%. And this year, this is for the 2011 report, a decline of 1.5%. So we at the ministry see this as a reversal in a trend that we've been observing for the past 5 or 6 years.
The reason the minister says is that a lot more of the precious and valuable supplies are being discovered due to a vigorous exploration drive.
We've had an increase in developmental drilling in Trinidad and Tobago. In fact, we've had an increase in drilling overall in Trinidad in the last year, and due to better performance of reservoirs than was originally expected.
The minister says the level of exploration today is unprecedented, 6 wells being drilled offshore, 2 onshore. He'll make further announcement, he says, on Wednesday, taking time to announce fresh plans to make this country a hub for the refueling of ships. A company is to be given a license to build a bunkering facility here.
It is estimated that on an annual basis, at least 125 ships will be bunkered in our waters arising out of this new business. And we are advised there is potential for up to 350 ships. The Cabinet also agreed that any fuel being purchased by Bunkers Oil Trinidad and Tobago Limited must be purchased by from state-owned Petrotrin.
The minister sees the expansion of the Panama Canal as a good supply source to redound more benefits to this country and the generation of more jobs.
To the crime front now, a 53-year-old Chaguanas man identified as Russell Hernandez of Cashew Gardens is this country's 255th murder victim. Investigators say around 4:30 this morning, Avalon Gustav was sleeping in bed with her common-law husband, Hernandez, at their Cashew Gardens home when she heard 2 loud explosions. She turned around to find Hernandez's lifeless body in a pool of blood. Officers of the Chaguanas police station were called in, and they found the victim lying on the bed with a gunshot wound to his forehead. A female relative has since been detained for questioning. Well, it's business as usual on September 3rd. The date has not been declared a public holiday. I know you're disappointed. Communications Minister Jamal Mohammed has put to rest the rumors that September 3rd this year is to be a public holiday. The rumor has been spreading across the social networking sites. The minister says there is no truth to it.
There is a rumor going around Trinidad and Tobago that the 3rd of September has been declared a public holiday. There's absolutely no truth to that rumor. The 3rd of September will be a normal day. I think it is the reopening of school here in Trinidad and Tobago, so it's back to work as normal on the 3rd of September 2012.
Yeah, I feel just like you. A gold medal winner is tonight calling on youths to pursue their dreams. No, it's not Keyshawn Walcott, but Nicholas Bagwandine, who won gold for the Olympics for the performing arts in Hollywood. This country won big at the event, and now there's a call for more to be done for those in the performing arts. More from Samuel McKnight.
While Trinidad and Tobago continues to celebrate the achievements of Olympic gold medalist Keyshawn Walcott, the country has quietly produced another gold medal winner in the Olympics for the Performing Arts held in Hollywood in July. He is Nicholas Bagwandine. Beating out 47 other nations in the hip-hop dance segment, Bagwandine says he's not fazed by the award and instead is challenging the youths to go after their dreams.
Any talented person to if it is that they can, to take up on the opportunity. And well, to any talented youth, just keep what you're doing. If it is you want to make it a career, you just have to stick to it and just be yourself and enjoy what you do.
Bagwandine also won a one-year scholarship to study dance at the Millennium Dance School in South California. CEO of the scholarship competition of talented teenagers, Princess Lee Keith, who trained and took 27 teens to the competition, says this country needs to invest in the wealth of talent in the arts locally.
The Olympics for the performing arts, and it is an Olympics, it's been going on for 16 years. We are going into the 17th year. And I do hope and pray that the government right now will look around and invest more into our people.
Lee Kim believes the education system must make an investment in its performing arts program.
Okay, we have in Trinidad and Tobago, I tell you, we have a wealth of talent. And I think every single school should be involved in some type of extracurriculum activities. They have to make it a must.
For CNC3, I am Samuel McKnight.
Well, it's time now for What You Saw, where we highlight the photos and the video you send us. The address news@cnc3.co.tt.
Our first photo comes from Quash, who says, imagine you can buy plum chow in a supermarket now, and he believes this is good reason for Trini people to be proud. After all, where else in the world can you find this? And this one from Rajiv saying this picture was taken at the Kedona intersection on the westbound lane near the exit to Cureb. He says while the highway vendors are trying to make an honest living, they pose a risk to drivers. And as of late, he says they've been leaving the median at all points of the intersection, packed with plastic bottles and other garbage, making for an obvious eyesore and a clear violation of the Litter Act.
Plum chow now being sold commercially in supermarkets called that way. I remember growing up in primary school having to make that, and sometimes you put it in containers, you leave it out there in the sun so that it could ferment a little bit to season and taste a lot better. Now look where it's reached. So
just the other day I saw someone in San Juan, they had their plums outside, and I almost ran away with some of them, but I didn't. I was very tempted though. It's a really nice tradition. I remember making chow with almost anything as a child.
Correct. That's quite true. Back to you, Golda. That's all for me.
Thank you, Samson. It's now time for us to remind you of the question that you're voting on in our Your Vote segment this evening. And that question is once again, are you optimistic that the crime-fighting measures outlined by the National Security Minister will have a significant impact on crime? Now, we've asked you to text your response to the number 2623. If your response is yes, text Y. If your response is no, then text N. We'll give you an update on voting during the newscast and the final vote at the end of tonight's news. We're waiting to hear from you. Now it's time to hand you over to Astil Wren for tonight's sports coverage.
Well, thank you so much, Golda. Well, the Soca Warriors coming up in this evening's sports coverage. The Soca Warriors go under to Canada in a friendly international in Florida. National Super Welterweight champion Kurt Tennant in final round of preparation for upcoming bout. West Indies on 19 scored their third consecutive win at the ICC on 19 limited overs tournament. And TNT gold medalists given some advice on how to cope with the newly found fame and fortune. And Manchester United wins the race for Robin van Persie. All next on Sport.
Radio Trinidad as a broadcast journalist in 1948. He would become the first local to be promoted to the position of program director. He then went to work at the Trinidad Chamber of Commerce as the general manager, and after 7 years he took up the position of managing director of the Trinidad Express newspaper. Under his leadership, the Express was transformed into the Caribbean Communications Network. As chairman and chief executive officer of CCN, Gordon played a key role in establishing indigenous, privately owned media in the region. He co-founded the Nation newspaper in Barbados, the Starbuck News in Guyana, the Observer in Jamaica, and the Tobago News. He has helped establish many other enterprises and programs outside of the media and has been the chairman of public and private enterprises. He was also a minister of government. Gordon received the Inter-American Press Association Award in 1993, the Maria Moores Cabot Gold Medal from Columbia University in 1984, the Commonwealth Press Union Lord Astor Award in 1985, the Media Association of Trinidad and Tobago Award in 1997, and the UE Legacy Award in 2002. He has been inducted into the Caribbean Broadcasting Union and the Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Industry and Commerce Halls of Fame. He has an honorary doctorate from the University of Trinidad and Tobago and was awarded the Shakonia Medal Gold in 2007.
The 50 most influential personalities since independence. We want your view via text on Facebook and online at 50tt.guardian.co.tt.
Stream, share faster than ever before on Digicel's super fast 4G network. It's summer in 4G. Get your smartphone with a smart plan on the smartest network in TNT. Sign up for our newest postpaid smart plans now. Plus, for a limited time, get 1 month subscription free and 4G smartphones for $199. Be extraordinary. Digicel.
Selected package filled with delightful Casey candies. Experience this sweet mint sensation for generations. Our souvenir of Trinidad and Tobago. So take home a sweet pan today. Casey Candy, we do make every moment sweeter. Call 636-2360 to place your orders now.
Get to the head of the class with Shelton back-to-school shoes. The most durable back-to-school shoes in TNT with real leather uppers and stitch outsoles from just $164.99. Plus, get 1 pair of socks free with every pair purchased. Shelton, available exclusively at Detour.
This Independence Day is special. So at Subway for the whole month of August, the treat's on us. That's right. When you buy any foot-long Subway sandwich during August, we will give you a treat free. Choose from any of our decadent offerings. Cookies, muffins, brownies, even Soldanza chips. So stop by any of our 42 Subway stores for your next footlong and let us treat you. Happy Independence Day. Subway. Fresh.
Tough on sweat. Not on skin. Get powerful 48-hour sweat protection plus quarter moisturizer technology only with Dove Men Plus Care deodorant. Feel the impact of freshness. New Dove Men Plus Care Aqua Impact Deodorant.
Well, this country's soccer warriors were beaten 2-0 in their friendly international against Canada in Florida last night. The Warriors, inactive for some time, having played only 2 international matches thus far in 2012, conceded 2 goals on either side of the halftime. Jazzy Marik has more details.
Canada, under the guidance of former TNT footballer Stephen Hart, who was a worried man early on. Why? Well, because the Warriors were queuing up for chances in and around the Canadian 18-yard area, particularly Lester Peltier, who had this chance. Then he failed to get his head to the ball here from point blank. And then later he snatched at one laid on to him by Richard Roy. At the opposite end, Canada was finding their rhythm. They rattled the upright and then breached the TNT defense from the free, all in a goalless first half. Canada got their opening goal early in the second half through Toussaint Ricketts, blasting in from close in the 58th. Their second came from the penalty spot after the TNT defender handled in the area. Jean-Michael Williams getting the touch but unable to keep out William Johnson's effort, which condemned TNT to a 2-0 defeat. Coach Hudson Charles said it was a result he expected given his team's recent inactivity.
Although we lost, I was expecting the kind of performance that we performed tonight, because most of the guys now coming into the preseason training, and it was evident that most of them cramped up.
But he says things could have gone differently.
In the earlies, I thought we could have scored 1 or 2 goals. I think Peltier did well, but as I say, match practice. A lot of match practice, I think, had the game how it went today.
Reporting for CNC3 Sports, I am Jazzy Marik.
In other friendlies in the region, Peru got past Costa Rica by 1-0. Ecuador was 3-0 winners over Chile, and Jamaica defeated El Salvador by 2-0. Well, Manchester United has won the race to sign Robin van Persie ahead of Manchester City and Italian giants Juventus. Manchester United will pay £38 million for the player, in which Manchester's boss, Sir Alex Ferguson, is quite pleased.
They're 2 fantastic players, and it's great to have the both of them. But also, I think that what gives us more strength is the combinations I have up front. Now, if you go back to the 99 season when I had Dwight and Andy, of course, but Teddy and Ole Gunnar, the 4 best strikers in Europe. So I think I'm going towards that now. We've got Chicharito, I've got Wayne, I've got Robin, I've got Danny Welbeck, and I've got Kagawa. It's a fantastic collection of players there. Hopefully I picked the right combinations. But it's great to have a player of Van Persie's qualities come into the squad as it is at the moment. Very pleased.
I think Arsene Wenger has gone on record to say that he would have preferred his captain to have joined Paris Saint-Germain. Probably anyone but United. Is that how you think he would have been feeling?
Well, you can understand that. I mean, having lost players already in the past 2 seasons to great rivals who've gone on now to win the league, it's a tough thing to take, to see your captain, your best player, walk away to arguably your greatest rivals. But in the end, it was the will of the player that decided this one. He simply didn't want to join Juventus, and Paris Saint-Germain spelt elsewhere on Zlatan Ibrahimovic this summer. So in the end, it was a one-horse race, and Van Persie decided where he would go.
Well, possibly his last world title shot is all that Kurt Sinnett sees in the weeks leading up to his September 2nd fight against Ugandan Joey Vargas. Sinnett describes his readiness for the WBC International Light Heavyweight crown as 80%. He has been putting in the hours up at the Larry Gomes Stadium boxing gym. And Jazzy Marik has more details of it.
Only take discipline, so that when they see World Cup bring home that gold medal, you understand the type of work that he put in. It's not end there for him, neither it's now beginning for me to bring home a world title to this country and follow suit as Leslie Stewart and also our only Claude Noel.
It seems that every Trinidad and Tobago athlete is in that Walcott frame of mind. Boxer Kurt Sinnett recently invited us into his world as he prepares to bring further glory to this country come September 2nd.
Yeah, right, that's it.
Sinet takes on Ugandan Joey Vegas on that date at the Woodbrook Youth Facility just 2 days after TNT's 50th independence. And the 38-year-old has been keen on putting in the work ahead of what could very well be his crowning moment.
I think my training is coming along great at this present time. I would say I'm about 80% fit. I know within this next 2 weeks I will be 100% fit for Joey Vegas, and that night will be a wonderful night for Trinidad and Tobago.
Reporting for CNC3 Sports, I am Jassy Merik.
Well, councillor for the Toko area, Terry Rondon, is attempting to have the children in the Toko and surrounding areas have their day to see gold medalist Keishon Walcott. The councillor is making the pitch because he said during the motorcade on Monday, most of the children waited and waited all in vain, but never got a chance to see the Olympic champion. We have some pictures from the Sangre Grande area where spectators vent their feelings. While the official welcoming ceremony was taking place at Piaco International Airport, this family was getting ready to see the Olympic champion pass their way. This young lady with flag in hand kept abreast as to what was taking place at Piaco. The flagman and his massive flag created quite a stir in Aruca. The motorcade did came through way past the scheduled time. And Keishon's father, Hendy, did have his share of stardom from this fan. This lady, who was out very early in the morning waiting on the motorcade, vent her feelings as to the long delay.
We want Keishon. We need to see Keishon. We don't want to see that black. We want to see Keishon. Bring Keishon here for me.
A few meters away, there was the same complaint.
That's horrible. They say he coming in the back and he never come nowhere. They say he coming. He coming. They say he coming.
Having traveled the Pacific route, the motorcade arrived in Sangre Grande, and there was a massive crowd awaiting the Olympic champion. Every advantage point was taken, and this man who left Toko many years ago rediscovered his roots.
You remember when people, when they hear from Toko or when they find it funny, they say like, you from Toko?
The motorcade did arrive many hours past the scheduled time. The spectators got a glimpse of the London 2012 gold medalist. The Prime Minister and her entourage made a stop at the Sangre Grande police station, where she greeted adoring fans before heading out to the final leg of the journey to Toko. His unfallible demeanor might suggest that he's unfazed by all the attention surrounding his gold medal winning moment in London. On the other hand, it might be an attempt to mask the real emotions of a 19-year-old overwhelmed by the sudden tidal shift in life as he once knew it. It is for this reason top sports psychologist Margaret Lutley is urging friends and family to lend genuine support to young Keishon Walcott.
What we have to do, because he's so young, is really to help him to sustain, right? To make sure he's injury-free, so he gets the kind of support system that he needs. We need to develop the kind of science and technology that would help him to understand more about the craft and this natural ability he has, to develop the techniques that is required, because things are changing all the time.
Utley, who has worked extensively with some of the best sportsmen and women in this country, as well as the USA, also advises Walcott himself to remain grounded and give proper perspective to his achievements.
The business of sport he's now thrown into overnight. So he needs to have those people around who can also make the right decisions and actually teach him not to just rely on their skills, but to develop his own skills too. It's great to hear that he's going to UTT and to further his education, because he would need the knowledge too of how to help himself grow.
Well, the West Indies Under-19 scored their third consecutive victory to top Group C at the ICC Under-19 Limited Over Series currently being played in Australia. Zimbabwe batted first and made 148, with Malcolm Lake top scoring with 31. The bowlers taking the wickets for the West Indies. For the West Indies Under-19s were medium pacers Jerome Jones for 2 for 40 and Justin Graves 2 for 28 and spinner Akhil Hussain 2 for 16. The West Indies in reply, they had their shaky moments, but skipper Craig Brathwaite steadied the innings with an unbeaten 70, and Kyle Myers was not out on 30. The West Indies under 19s winning by 6 wickets. And staying with some more cricket news now, England have drew first blood on the opening day of the third and final test match against South Africa at Lord's. South Africa won the toss and decided to bat first, but they were quickly reduced to 54 for 4. Skipper Graham Smith, 14, Hashim Amla, 13, and Peterson, 22, and Jacques Hallis, well, he made only 3. They were all back in the pavilion. South Africa, lower order, rallied the innings, and they came to the team's cause with A.D. de Villiers, he made 27, Jacques Rudolph, 42, and J.P. Duminy, 61. Vernon Philander was not out on 46 as South Africa closed on 267 for 7 at the end of the day's play. James Anderson had 3 for 58, Stephen Finn had 3 for 68, and Graham Swan had 1 for 53. They were the wicket takers for England. And on to tonight's sports high, which comes from the international friendly between the USA and Mexico. The USA created history by beating Mexico at the Azteca Stadium in a friendly international for the very first time. The Mexicans, newly crowned Olympic champions, appeared to be slow up the blocks, and the Americans made them pay dearly in the 81st minute with a combined effort of Breck Shear, Torrance Boyd with a back heel, and Michael Orozco Fiscal. Both parents of Fiscal were born in Mexico. For such an outstanding feat, we hand the principals, Shear, Boyd, and Fiscal, tonight's CNC3 Sports High. Well, you couldn't want a better goal than that. As I hand you back, tonight's sportscast is over, and I hand you back to Gola. Gola?
Thank you so much, Astil. And it's time to check in on how you've been voting this evening. And your vote question this evening is, are you optimistic that the crime-fighting measures outlined by the National Security Minister will have a significant impact on crime? And from your voting thus far, 2% of you have said yes, and 98% of you said no. Now, you still have the opportunity to vote before the end of the newscast. We're waiting to hear from you. Now, coming up just ahead in the CNC3 News tonight, we give you all the juicy details in the entertainment world, including the very latest from Bajan singer Rihanna and her feelings for her ex-boyfriend Chris Brown. All in the CNC3 News. Stay with us.
I stuck in traffic.
B-Mobile, TNT's #1 mobile network.
There's really one bank you can depend on. Friendly service every day. There's really one standard of treating you like you deserve to be. Yeah. Republic gives only the best to you. We get personal attention, so explain for your inspection.
Mrs. B is happy. She's happy because she knows every bottle of Smalta is filled with B vitamins, ideal for growth, concentration, and vitality. Give them their B's. Smalta, because you love them.
I think as an artist, it's important to know who you are and what you're for. So it's good to come back home, come back to base, to my roots. If we are a dot, let's be the most creative, passionate, energetic dot they've ever seen. I for that. It's just that amazing simplicity that I love about Trinidad that continues to inspire me. What are you proud about? Tell us on Twitter by tweeting I4TANDT.
Where there's love for country, there's energy. Where there's energy, there's BPTT.
Smooth in, frizz out. Suave Professional's Keratin Infusion Shampoo and Conditioner is infused with keratin. It controls frizz for up to 48 hours. Salon proven to smooth as well as Kerastase Ban Oleo Relax.
Come and see what police can do. Come and hear what police can do. Come and learn what police can do. We want to partner with you.
Police Caravan is rolling into Arima. Come on down to the Princess Royal Park near to the bus terminal on Friday, 17th August 2012 from 12 noon to 5 p.m. It's interesting and informative. Bring the entire family. See you there.
Police can do. We want to partner with you.
Well, weather has been the hot topic these days, and with good reason. And here to bring you the latest is Eric Mackey.
Thank you, Golda. Well, yesterday the rumour mill was going very hard because Met Services put out an information advisory on a tropical wave that was approaching. Our tropical wave is nothing to worry about, people. It's a very weak system, and there's another one coming in here. We have them coming across the Atlantic all the time. What they do is that they interact with the intertropical convergence zone, and they produce some showers and thunderstorms, which may be heavy. You may get an isolated thunderstorm. And that's what the Met Services were advising of yesterday. And at the bottom of the advisory, it says in big letters that we are not under any tropical storm threat, watch or warning. But 90% of the people didn't see that. They just saw the upper part and thought a tropical storm was coming. Some people thought it was a tsunami and all of this sort of stuff. But it's nothing like that at all. We'll get some rain and showers off of it, isolated thunderstorm activity, maybe a little bit of gusty wind, but nothing to be really seriously concerned about. Our concern yesterday was the fact that, given the amount of flooding in Diego Martin over the weekend and the fact that the watercourses still hadn't been properly cleared because of the short duration since the last event, we might get some flooding from that. And that was the main reason. But other than that, nothing to worry about. So this tropical wave is about a day out yet. So it's probably going to come through on Saturday and may bring some showery activity with it. So if an information bulletin comes out advising of this, you know what to expect. Up in the northern part of the Atlantic, we got Tropical Storm Gordon. That came out of a very active tropical wave that came off the African coast about a week ago. That tropical wave was looking like if it was going to develop into a hurricane instantly. It didn't happen, but now Tropical Storm Gordon has formed. Now, this system is way far north of the Eastern Caribbean, not going to affect us in any way at all, and it's heading in an east-northeasterly direction out into the Atlantic. It may affect the Azores Islands in a couple of days, and they are keeping a close eye on it. The winds are going to be light, around 10 to 15 knots, gusting to 18, and out to an east-to-east southeasterly direction. The seas are forecast to be around 1.5 meters with a 7 to 8 second interval between the swells. And they're out of an east-to-east northeasterly direction. The Gulf of Piracy should remain below 1 meter. Trinidad tonight's going to be partly cloudy, isolated showers in the forecast. Tonight's will be 24 degrees. Tomorrow we're looking at mostly sunny conditions to start off, but as the morning progresses, we're looking at those clouds building up. We're going to get some daytime heating, building those clouds up a bit. So look for those showers occurring midday into early afternoon. There's a chance of a thunderstorm. Tomorrow's high forecast will be 33 degrees. Across in Tobago tonight, it'll be fair at first, but it will become partly cloudy. Mostly after midnight into early morning, 1 or 2 showers in the forecast, then a low of 24. And Tobago tomorrow, partly sunny, isolated showers during the day. Again, the chance of a thunderstorm will be mainly in the afternoon, early afternoon. Tomorrow's high forecast will be 31. Sun's going to rise at 5:56 a.m. and sets at 6:23 p.m. And the first high tide for Port of Spain will be at 3:27 a.m. and for Scarborough 2:55. The first low tide, 9:57 a.m. for Port of Spain and 9:31 for Scarborough. And that's my weather report for now. We'll have a look at the travelers' forecast. I'm going to take a short break and then come back. Gold will have some more news here.
You're talking to your best friend when
you're going to clean their family.
You get cash back.
Yeah, darling.
You're talking to your best friend when you realize you're always a winner. You're talking to your best friend when you get a makeover. You suddenly feel like dancing. Every dog gets its day. You have your cake and eat it too. Nightfall. You're talking to your best friend. Whatever else happens, always get extraordinary value with Digicel. Get $1 cash back for every paid minute on local Digi to Digi calls made during the day, so you can talk more at night. Be extraordinary. Digicel.
And at the party there's a crowd. With a hook hook here and a shake shake there. Shake shake hook hook, everywhere shake hook. Sucker party over with Centel.
One dose of Centel eliminates most common words. Deworm your family with Centel.
Modern life can be demanding on your eyes. From outdoor to indoor, professional to sporting activities, to long hours on the computer. LensTech at Ferrero Optical gives you up to $800 off premium lenses with frames to suit your lifestyle needs. Offer ends September 15th, only at Ferrero Optical.
When I was little, I stuttered so bad and was really embarrassed by that. The teacher always used to call on students in the class. I'd be sitting there like, please don't call me. I'm gonna read it, I'm gonna stutter, everybody's gonna laugh at me. Shaquille, would you like to read page 19? Just be like, I'll take the 0. You know, I still stutter to this day, but I'm more cool with it now. Like if I get ready to stutter, I'll just give you to throw you off balance. My name is Shaquille O'Neal, and I'm definitely comfortable in my own skin.
Welcome back. Motorists and pedestrians are tonight being warned that they both have the responsibility of adhering to the law at zebra crossings and at traffic lights. The police service says those who break the law will incur serious penalties. More from Samuel McKnight.
Following reports of accidents and even confrontations between motorists and pedestrians at traffic lights and zebra crossings, especially ones along South Quay outside Citygate, the police is now issuing a warning to both drivers and pedestrians. Quoting from Section 19.2 of the Motor Vehicle and Road Traffic Act 4850, Public Information Officer Sergeant Wayne Meiser says all drivers have a duty to adhere to all traffic rules and regulations.
Every pedestrian on a zebra crossing has precedence over any vehicle, and the driver of the vehicle shall accord such precedence to the pedestrian where the pedestrian came onto the zebra crossing prior to the vehicle.
Quoting from Section 9 of the Motor Vehicle and Road Traffic Act 4850, Sergeant Meiser also says to pedestrians that they too have to be responsible.
The traffic signs and pedestrian crossing order tells of the significance of traffic signs for pedestrians. Far too often we observe pedestrians ignoring the Pelican crossing. The red light shown by pedestrian light signals means that the pedestrian shall not use the crossing.
122 road fatalities from 103 accidents, of which 33 are pedestrians, have been recorded for this period in 2012. For CNC3, I am Samuel McKnight.
It's time for tonight's entertainment hotspot, and Rihanna's relationship with Chris Brown is once again in the spotlight.
Entertainment Hotspot is brought to you by Lucozade Energy.
The Carnival band launches continue as Dream Team unveils its 2013 presentation, Flashback, a fantastic journey into yesteryear. The band's launch was originally scheduled for last Saturday, but was postponed due to disastrous floods in western Trinidad. Last year, the band presented Untamed and is hoping to continue on in the success of that presentation. Emancipation celebrations have come and gone locally, but the Trinidad and Tobago Consulate in New York is keen to show just how it commemorated the day. The consulate held its first ever Emancipation Day celebrations with a parade in Prospect Park, New York, with TNT nationals in traditional garb, accompanied by drummers. The event began with prayers and ended with a true Trini party. It may be 3 years since R&B singer Chris Brown infamously laid hands on Barbadian beauty Rihanna, but now there is mounting concerns about her feelings for the singer. In an interview with Oprah scheduled for broadcast this Sunday, the 24-year-old Caribbean beauty is quoted as saying that she felt the need to protect Brown after the infamous incident. According to Rihanna, as angry as she was, she felt Chris made a mistake because he needed help. The singer is also quoted as saying that she was concerned for Brown and the fact that everyone saw him as a monster.
Entertainment Hotspot is brought to you by Lucozade Energy.
It's gonna be a great day. Got my juicing up, hey. Let's focus, people. Come on and get it sorted. Get more out of your day. Get things done efficiently. Let's go with it. Come on and just drink it, people. Drink it up now. Drink it up now. Drink it up now. Drink it up now.
Enjoy the new look and send great taste today. Ginseng up, the roots of all power.
Ooh, can't concentrate. Can you pause it? I need to go to the bathroom.
No worries, go.
Let's see what he has recorded here. Street Dogs, 101 Dalmatians, Scooby-Doo.
Sex and the City.
Done. Man, you got a nice letterbox.
What letterbox?
My letterbox?
With DirecTV Plus, it's possible to record all your favorite shows and movies for just $239 a month. You can replay, pause, and rewind all your favorite shows, plus record more than 100 hours of television. Call us now at 672-8111. With DirecTV, everything is possible.
2009, I will never forget that year. What we have accomplished as a very small nation is very inspiring. We gave the best for our team, for our country, and for our people. You know, this is one way of identifying a Trinbagonian, and cricket has definitely done that for us. What are you proud about? Tell us by tweeting on Twitter to #I4TNT.
Where there's love for country, there's energy. Where there's energy, there's BPTT.
When you cross the stand-up pouch with a resealable spout, what you get is the extreme convenience of the Swiss spout.
No mess, no stress. The all-new Swiss ketchup spout is here. It's time to catch up to the spout today.
It's time for a summary of the main international stories of the day.
End when its mandate expires on Sunday because there had not been a significant enough reduction in violence. The Taliban says it carried out an attack on one of Pakistan's biggest air bases. One soldier and 9 militants were killed after gunmen stormed the Air Force base near the capital, Islamabad.
We'll be back after this short break.
There's one in all of us. Don't drink and drive.
I love what you drink.
Designate a friend so you can lime again. Be the one. A message from the Trinidad and Tobago Beverage Alcohol Alliance.
Tell a neighbor, tell a friend. Breeze is at it again.
The Breeze Shopping Spree competition has been reloaded. Buy any 900-gram Breeze or larger, any size Quicks or Safe product, and you can win a shopping spree for yourself and one for your friend. 10 sprees, plus cash and prizes to be won. See press for details. Promotion runs from May 14th to August 31st.
Tell a neighbor, tell a friend. Breeze is at it again. It's the new shopping spree for you and me. Now winning is a breeze.
If your upset stomach doesn't let you go on with your day, try Andrew Souls. Rapid heartburn and upset stomach relief that starts working in just 6 seconds. Also, try Andrew Souls. Relief with a refreshing lemon flavor.
Listen up, people, to this spot about rainbow products and why they're hot. Corned beef's not the only thing they've got, so put a rainbow in your pot. Canned and dried goods just for you. Vienna sausages and tuna too. Oil milk rice. rice, peas, and carrots, so put a rainbow in your pot.
Now that's a lot.
That's right, I said a lot. So put a rainbow in your pot. Yeah, put a rainbow in your pot. Put a rainbow in your pot.
The Rainbow range of first-class food products. Available nationwide.
It's time to tell you how you voted in our Your Vote segment. And the question was, are you optimistic that the crime-fighting measures outlined by the National Security Minister will have a significant impact on crime? And in our final tally of votes, 2% of you said yes, and 98% of you said no. And we had, in total, 1,515 votes. Thank you so much for sharing with us. That brings us to the end of the news here on TNT3. I'm Golda Lee Bruce.
I'm Samson Anton. Have a good night.